Hello, baseball fans. This is Anthony with BBSN, and we are here for payoff pitch, which means it is start number 8 in our 1969 Ferguson Jenkins Cubs replay. And tonight we have some visitors from the West Coast as the Los Angeles Dodgers come into town to take on Fergie and the Cubs. And the Dodgers do have a fairly potent lineup, good solid team. And in real life, this game was a 4-2 Dodger victory and played on 5/7/1969. It went 12 innings, and Fergie was the man. He went the entire 12-inning game for the Cubbies, which you would never see now. And Dodgers got to him with 2 runs in the top of the 12th to send him down to defeat. In our replay and in real life, he came into this game with a record of 5-1, 2.72 ERA. In our replay, he comes into this game with a 5-2 record, 2.17 ERA, coming off of 3 very good starts, 2 of which against the Mets, and the last one a 2-0 shutout. And you see the numbers in the replay, fairly close in all categories. Big advantage here in Ks in the replay, and a couple more home runs in real life. Actually, after the last game, prior to the last game, it was 4-4, and he gave up 2 to the Mets in a 3-2 real life win in the start before this. So that's an update on Fergie, replay versus real life. Our starting lineups for the Dodgers: Willie Crawford, Willie Davis, Wes Parker, Andy Cosco, not to be confused with the retail giant, Tom Haller, Bill Sudakis, Ted Sizemore, Paul Popovich, and on the mound for the Dodgers is Claude Osteen. And the Cubbies, the usual lineup, and one thing that stands out is the Cubbies really did not change their lineup much in this season, at least to this point. So it's the standard that you're used to seeing: Kessinger, Becker, Sweet Swing, and Billy Williams. Ron Santo at the hot corner, Ernie Banks, Randy Hundley behind the dish, Al Spangler in right, Don Young in center field, and Fergie Jenkins, of course, on the hill. And also a rumor that the boss, Bruce Springsteen, may be singing the 7th inning stretch in this one. We'll see. So lineups are in place, and we are ready to go, minus the fact our pitchers are in the wrong spot. So Willie Crawford going to lead this off and get things started for the Dodgers. And top of the first inning, and that's going to be an in-play result. And Crawford's going to ground that down to first base, 1 down. So Ernie Banks takes that unassisted, brings up Willie Davis. And Davis, he's going to put it in play as well, and that's going to be a pop-up to shortstop. Circling under that is Kessinger. Taps his glove, puts it away, 2 up, 2 down. So Fergie picking up right where he left off against the Mets last time out on the hill. And another in-play result to Wes Parker, and that is just out of range. Going to be a ground ball back to Fergie himself. And he flips that over to Banks, and 3 up, 3 down for the Dodgers. And we go to the bottom of the first inning. The lefty Claude Osteen set to face Don Kessinger. And Osteen gets a sign, delivers, and 7 will be in play. And that is going to be a pop-up, or no, not a pop-up to shortstop, a ground ball down to third base. So Bill Sudakis takes care of Kessinger, 1 down. Second baseman Glenn Beckert. And Beckert steps in against the lefty, and that's going to be tough. And Beckert, tough to strike out, but Osteen gets him here. Slips one by him on the inside corner, 2 down. Brings up Sweet Swing and Billy Williams. Williams looking to launch one into the right field bleachers, and he's not going to do it that way. In play, and that ends the inning with a ground ball down to second base. And up with that is Popovich over to Parker, and the side is retired. So both pitchers matched donuts in the first inning. And we will head to the second here in the friendly confines. Andy Cosco to lead it off. And Cosco, that's going to be tough, and will be a fly ball to center or left field. And Billy Williams puts that away, 1 down. Brings up Tom Holler, the left-hander. And another tough rating, and Holler, that's going to be a ground ball down to second base. And up with that is Beckert, whips it over to Banks, 2 down. Stepping into the box is third baseman Bill Sudakis, and the pitch from Fergie. And patient result, and that's going to be a fly ball to center field. And Young circles under that, taps the glove, puts it away. Nice routine can of corn, and Fergie is perfect through 2. Head to the bottom of the second inning. Ron Santo facing Messersmith. And that's going to be a ballpark check, and Wrigley gets the left-hander. 51 is wheelhouse. Santo, here comes a pitch right down the middle, a big cut, and he bangs that off the top of the ivy in left field. And when the dust clears, Santo will be standing at second base, a stand-up double. Got a hold of that, just hit it a little bit on too much of a line, and almost left the ballpark. Missed it by that much, so runner on second base, nobody out. Ernie Banks up, and Osteen Wines delivers. And patient to Ernie, and 53 is going to be hit by a pitch. So Osteen, a little rattled perhaps, plunks Banks. And Ernie shakes that off, all part of the game, trots down to first base, but Randy Hundley is up, and he has come through big in some clutch situations thus far. And this will be in play, not going to happen here, however, as he flies out to center field. Runners will hold, 1 down. Al Spanky Spangler, lefty-lefty matchup here. And I guess Gene Mock does not worry about platooning. 6 is going to be in play, and 32 Spangler. Spangler's going to bang a single out on that, and again using the fast action cards to check our hit results. And single, that's going to be a ground ball up the middle of center field. A runner on first advances 1, runner on second scores. So Ron Santo comes around with our first run of the ball game on an Al Spangler RBI single. Stopping at second base is Mr. Cubby Ernie Banks, and the Cubbies break out to a 1-0 lead in this one. Still 1 out, runners first and second. Don Young up. And that's going to be a tough, and against the left-hander, swing and a miss, blows out right by him, and Young is not now, nor will he ever be famous for his contact hitting. So 2 down, and that brings up the pitcher spot, Fergie Jenkins. Osteen looking to get out of this with only 1 run. And 7 is going to be an in-play result, and Fergie's going to help himself with a single, so a 2-out single. And runners will be moving, so coming around to score will be Ernie Banks, and all the way over to third, Al Spanky Spangler. And Fergie with the RBI single. And Cubbies have a 2-0 lead, and in his most recent starts, 2 runs has generally been almost enough. So back to the top of the order, Kessinger, Osteen, that's going to be an in-play result, and hitting the air to center field. And finally, Davis is going to put that away, and the inning is over. But the Cubbies strike for 2 runs on 3 hits. No errors. They leave 2 left. We head to the top of the third, and it's 2-0 Cubs. And Fergie Jenkins says, thank you very much. Let me do what I do. And that is going to be a fly out to left field for Ted Sizemore. So 1 down, and Fergie does not have a strikeout. He is averaging better than 9 strikeouts per 9 innings, and we are going to have a rare play. So double zeros, nobody on base, and we go to my homebrewed rare play chart, which will be for a yet to be announced project. And 29, third baseman catches foul ball falling into the stands. Fan knocks it loose. Replay at bat. So Santo had that, and one of the Wrigley Zealots bumped it loose. Let's see if that comes back to haunt his teammate and is not going to, as this is going to be another fly out to center field for Popovich. And nice and smack dab in the middle of the field where no one could touch it. 2 down. That brings up Osteen, who is a decent hitting pitcher. And 9's going to be tough. Not decent enough, though, as Jenkins blows 3 right past him. His first strikeout of the game, and another perfect inning for Fergie. Heading to the bottom of the third, 2-0 Cubs. Glenn Beckert will lead it off against Claude Osteen. Comes with a high leg kick, and that's going to be a fly out to center field, 1 down. So Willie Davis covers a lot of ground out there. He gets to that one easily, and sweet swinging Billy Williams steps into the box. And Williams, Osteen, that's going to be tough, and well, 1 definitely a strikeout there as Williams is fanned. So Osteen's 3rd K of the ball game brings up Ron Santo, 2 away. And Claude seems to be back in his rhythm here on the hill. And 8, another tough result. That's going to be another strikeout. So Osteen strikes out the final 2, 3 up, 3 down for the Cubbies. As we head to the top of the 4th inning, 2-0. Fergie and the Cubs in the lead as Willie Crawford sets to lead it off for the Dodgers, top of the order. Fergie brings it, and that's going to be a ground ball down to second base. And Beckert whips that over to Banks. 1 down, and Fergie, reminiscent of 3 starts ago against the Mets. He is perfect through 3 1/3. And 11 is going to be a defensive check. And range check on first base, and that is Ernie Banks. And Banks has an A range down there. So in Wrigley, A range would have to be 1 to 26 to be a hit, so he makes a play there. 3 unassisted. And that defensive check could come back to potentially be vital. We shall see. Wes Parker steps in. And 3 is tough. Parker. And Parker's going to break up the perfect game. Only 3 2/3 this time as he singles sharply into right field. So Fergie, though, 2 outs and runner on first base for Andy Costco. And 7 results going to be in play, and that's going to be a ground ball down to Santa. Whips that over to Banks, and the inning's over. But the Dodgers do break through for a hit. They leave that runner on. We head to the bottom of the 4th, still 2-0. And Mr. Cubby, Ernie Banks, digs in. He was hit by a pitch and scored his first at-bat. And that is going to be tough. And Ernie, against the left-hander, he's not going to be able to catch up to the high heat, though. He goes down swinging, and that's Osteen's 3rd strikeout in a row, as Randy Hundley looks to break that streak. And 4 will be in play. He breaks it, but it's going to be a harmless fly ball to shallow left field. And Willie Crawford puts that away, no problem. Al Spanky Spangler up. And he singled to drive in the run's first game. Or the game's first run. Johnny Backwards announcer here. And 6 will be in play, result 34. And that's going to be another single. So Spangler rhymed to the reason with him being in there against the lefty. He hits lefties well. So 2 down, runner on first, and Don Young steps up. And Young, that's going to be tough, and 43 against the left-hander, yet another strikeout. So Young meets the same fate he did in his initial at-bat, and that's 6 now for Osteen as we're through 4 innings, 2-0 Cubbies. As Tom Haller set to lead it off for the Dodgers. And that's going to be tough, and that'll definitely be a strikeout. Fergie blows that by him, his 2nd K of the game. Bill Sudaka steps in. Fergie stares him down, kicks, delivers, and that's going to be a fly out to center field, 2 down. So Fergie right back on task after the 2-out hit by Costco the last inning. Ted Sizemore steps up to the dish, and 6 will be a tough, and 37 against the right-hander, just out of range there, and that'll be a pop-up to shortstop. So Kessinger camps under that, puts it away, and we're heading to the bottom of the 5th inning. Fergie working on a one-hitter. Cubs lead 2-0. And the ace will lead it off here for the Cubbies. And 9, that's going to be a tough out. That'll be a strikeout. Osteen's 7th. So Claude getting some work done. Really has just had a single lapse. Apart from that 2nd inning, he's only given up 1 hit the rest of the way too. So Don Kessinger steps in. That's going to be tough. And against the left-hander, that'll be a strikeout. So that's 8 now. 8 Cubbies have gone down with. As Glenn Beckert steps in and Osteen looks to retire the side via strikeout. Not going to happen. Beckert puts it in play, but it's right at the shortstop, and Sizemore up with that, whips it over to first. And another 3-up, 3-down inning for Osteen. He's got 3 of those in this game, and we are through 5. And Cubbies clinging to a 2-0 lead. Looks like this is going to be another tight one, as Fergie's last 3 starts have generally been. Paul Popovich set to lead it off. That's a tough. Be a fly out to left field, 1 away. Brings up the pitcher spot. And Osteen will stay in and hit. Not time to panic and pinch hit yet. And 5 is going to be patient, 46, and that will be out of range, and a ground ball down to Santo. Whips it over to Banks, 2 down. And back to the top of the order, left fielder Willie Crawford. He is 0 for 2, is grounded out to Banks and Beckert. And here comes a pitch, and that's tough. 21, struck him out. So Fergie says, "You look hot. Let me fan you here on this nice spring day." And sends you back to the shade of the dugout. So 3-up, 3 down again, and we head to the bottom of the 6th. Fergie spinning a masterpiece here, twirling a one-hitter. Cubs lead 2-0 as Billy Williams steps in. And 6 going to be in play, and Williams, a single sharply back up the middle there. And Cubbies are in business with the leadoff runner, and let's see if Williams is going to attempt to steal. He is a terrible base stealer, so he stays put. And really no one on this Cubs team is exactly fleet of foot. Not a running team. They play pitching and power, and Osteen in play. And Santo, that is going to be a pop-up to second base. So Popovich puts that away, 1 down. Runner up first obviously holds as Ernie Banks digs in. Banks been hit by a pitch, scored, and struck out his last time. And tough, 45. He's going to go down swinging again. That's 9 for Osteen now. And for the most part, he is cutting through the Cubs' order as though they were tissue paper, wet tissue paper at that. And that's going to be a tough out, and nothing Randy Hundley can do there but swing and miss and give Mr. Osteen 10 Ks. So the Cubbies do get another hit, their 5th of the game. But Osteen sets down the next 3, 1 left. We head to the 7th inning. Cubbies are up 2-0 over the Dodgers. And Jenkins, that's going to be ballpark to Willie Davis, and 59 luckily will only be in play. And that is going to be a rare play. So 2nd time, we've got several games without a rare play coming up, and we have 2 of them this game, and again, base is empty. 78, batter pops up near first, runs over first baseman, called out on interference. So Willie Davis playing a little hockey there on the side. And that will go down as an F3. Banks gets credit for the putout, 1 down. Wes Parker, who has the Dodgers only hit in this one, steps in play, and that's going to be a fly out to left field. 2 away for Andy Costco. And 9, that'll be tough, 78. And that is going to be a fly out center field, harmless there. And 3 up, 3 down yet again. That's 3 straight innings for Fergie. So he is through 7 and spinning a one-hit masterpiece as we head to the 7th inning stretch. And Bruce Springsteen has joined us in the booth to sing the 7th inning stretch. He says he has a great interpretation of the old ball game. We shall see. Take it away, Mr. Springsteen. 8 years old, running with a dime in my hand to buy some peanuts and Cracker Jack for my old man. We'd root for the old home team. If they didn't win, it's a shame. 'Cause it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. The old ball game. All right, an interesting interpretation there from the boss of the 7th inning stretch. And Cubbies say enough of that, let's hit. Al Spanky Spangler steps in. And 10, that's going to be tough. And Osteen has 11 Ks, and that is the 2nd time he has struck out 3 Cubbies in a row. So Osteen serving up the chili con queso. Here he goes, and that's going to be a patient result to Don Young. And at least he will not go down swinging as he draws a walk. And that's the first free pass issued by Osteen. Brings up the pitcher spot. And with a 2-0 lead, and they're going to have Fergie hit away. Normally you would bunt here if there wasn't one out. And 7's going to be in play, and that is going to pay off as Fergie's got his 2nd hit of the game. And he's doing better than the rest of his team, and that's a hard grounder into left field. Runners advance 1. So 1st and 2nd, Fergie is certainly doing his best to support his own cause. Don Kessinger up now, and here comes the pitch from Osteen, and 2 is going to be patient, 29 against the lefty, and that's going to be a resounding double into the gap in left center. And deep drive to center field, 1 hops the wall, all runners score, the bases are cleared, a big 2-run double by Kessinger, and the Cubbies desperately needed those insurance runs. It's 4-0 as Young and Jenkins come across to score. Kessinger down at 2nd base, wipes the dust off and claps his hands. 2 RBIs. So that is going to get things going in the Dodger bullpen, and Al McBean is up and loosening up. And Osteen disgusted with himself as Glenn Becker steps up to the plate. And Osteen's fatigue is the 9th, so he is still fresh here. And that's going to be a defensive check. And defense going to be an error at 3rd base where Bill Sedakis resides. He is a error rating of 3. And 3 on the error rating, 1 to 53 is an error. Roll of 22, it is an error. And on the infield, that will be 1 base. So E5 as Kessinger bops over to 3rd. And still only 1 away here. Sweet swinging Billy Williams up, and Osteen at least has to face Williams before he can be relieved. Here comes the pitch, and that'll be in play. And sweet swinging Billy grounds that down to 2nd base, and 7 outside of his double play rating inside of Osteen. So we go to the 2-10, 0 to 45, and no. That will be a fielder's choice. So Kessinger will come in to score. That will be an unearned run. And Becker is erased at 2nd base, 4-6. And Williams on a fielder's choice, 2 outs, should have been 3, so that error looms large now. And the pitcher spot would be due up 5th, and the way Jenkins is pitching, they will not get there. So they're going to let Osteen go ahead and finish out this inning, hopefully. And 8, that's going to be tough. And 26, back on track with a strikeout of Santo. So finally the inning ends, but it was a big inning for the Cubs. They come up with 3 hits, or only 2 hits actually, score 3 runs. A walk and an error also came into play. So we head to the top of the 8th, and the Cubbies and Fergie with a comfortable 5-0 lead. And Tom Haller steps in to lead off the 8th for the Dodgers. And 7 from Fergie, that's going to be in play, and 37 will be a pop out to second base. Beckert catches that basket style to look fancy, flips it back to Fergie, who toes the rubber, gets ready to face Bill Sudakis. And Sudakis, that was a 37, and that's wheelhouse, and Sudakis going to rattle that down into the right field corner. He got a hold of that, just could not get it out of the park. So a 1-out double, and the Dodgers have at least a little something going here as Ted Sizemore steps up. Fergie's still in control though, and wheelhouse again. Are you kidding me? 54. That's going to be out of range. However, that'll be a harmless fly out to right field. So 2 fat pitches for Fergie, and Sizemore misses his, and that brings up Paul Popovich. Popovich, 2 out, runner in scoring position, and 9. That's going to be tough, and Fergie comes up big with a K. So Popovich is set down. And the inning is over. The Dodgers do manage their second hit, but they do nothing with it. Runner stranded at second, heading to the bottom of the 8th inning. And it is 5-0 Dodgers. And Osteen is going to be done. So Claude, he went 7 innings. Did give up 5 runs. Only 4 of them were earned. And really didn't pitch that bad. Only gave up 7 hits on the day. Walked 1 and struck out Buku. He ended up the game with, I believe, 11. So 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 strikeouts for Osteen. So when the Cubs weren't pummeling him, he was pummeling them. That's the way baseball works, though. And Al McBean will come on to relieve Osteen here. And he is set to face Ernie Banks. So Banks steps in now, leading off the 8th inning, and 7's going to be in play. And that is going to be a base hit for Ernie. Single right back up the middle against the right-hander. So Banks down at first, and Ernie is not able to steal. He literally cannot steal in this game ever. Randy Hundley steps in, and 4 is going to be patient. And perhaps they should have left Osteen in as Hundley draws a walk, and the Cubs now looking at possibly blowing this one wide open. Al Spanky Spangler had to do that, and patient Spangler, that's going to be a fly ball to right field. And Costco puts that away, runners hold, 1 down. Center fielder Don Young steps up, and McBean would like to take care of him because that means Banks is up next, and that is a tough result. And Young, he is not going to strike out this time. He instead will ground down to shortstop, and 9, that's outside of his double play rating. So again, we will go to the, and right on McBean, so we'll go to the 2-10. And 43, they're going to turn the double play there. So 6-4-3 on the twin killing. And the Dodgers avoid any further damage, give up a hit and a walk. But no runs and 1 left, and we head to the top of the 9th inning, and Osteen is due to hit, or McBean, sorry. And the Dodgers, they're going to bring up a pinch hitter, and it's going to be the masterful Manny Mota, one of the greatest pinch hitters in the history of the game. So Manny steps in to face Fergie here. Fergie stares him down, and here comes the pitch. And 4 is going to be ballpark 47, and that's going to be wheelhouse for Manny. Not much power, but he can get a hit. They will take that, and instead it is a deep fly ball to the track and put away, 1 down. So Mota heads back to the dugout and back to the top of the order for the Dodgers. Willie Crawford and Fergie working the 2-hitter here. And that's going to be in play result, and that'll be a ground ball down to Becker. It whips it over to Banks, and 2 away. So Fergie 1 out away from his 2nd consecutive shutout. This one even more dominating than the last. Willie Davis steps in. 4 is ballpark. 24 is wheelhouse. So Davis has a little pop. Here it comes. A mighty swing, and that's going to be a sharp single into right field. So he hit that right on the screws, but on a line. And the Dodgers have a base runner with 2 out, and their 3rd hit of the game for Wes Parker. Fergie wants to finish this now. Here comes the pitch. 8's going to be tough, and he wants to finish in style. He does. Parker swing and a miss. Throws his helmet down, and Fergie, the 2nd straight time he's ended a shutout with a K, and the Cubs win 5-0 over the Dodgers. So, final line score, the Dodgers, no runs on 3 hits, 1 error. The Cubbies, 5 runs on 8 hits. And no errors for the Cubs. And Fergie continues to roll, and he is pitching exceptional baseball right now. As he goes the distance there, 9 innings pitched, the 3 hits. No runs, and Fergie did not walk anybody. His control has been exceptional and struck out. Kind of a down game in strikeouts for him, only 5 compared to what he has been doing. But he gets the win, and with 2 hits as well, 2 hits, an RBI, and a run scored, I think it's pretty much unanimous. Fergie is our player of the game yet again. So another fine effort as he will move to 6-2 on this replay. And we will be back with start 9 after we get in the next race in red, white, and blue racing. It's pretty much going to be red, white, and blue and payoff pitch for the foreseeable future. So again, hope you enjoyed this, and please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. If you have any comments, suggestions, requests, leave them in the comments, and as always, appreciate you watching. Until next time, keep swinging for the fences. Take care. This is Anthony out.